When you think of truly massive human achievements, the Great Wall of China is probably one of the first things that comes to mind. It's iconic, but it's also one of the most misunderstood construction projects in all of history. So let's peel back the layers. What's the real story behind the wall? Okay, let's just jump right in with the sheer scale of this thing. A modern survey measured the entire Great Wall system, and it came out to 21,196 kilometers. I mean, just try to wrap your head around that. That's more than half the distance around the entire planet. It's just staggering. And get this, it wasn't like they just banged this out in a few years. The construction went on for an unbelievable 2,000 years. This wasn't built by one emperor or even one dynasty. Nope. This was an epic undertaking that spanned generations upon generations. So who actually built it? Well, we're talking about an estimated 800,000 people. And that was a mix of everyone, soldiers, regular folks, prisoners, all of them working on this thing over the centuries. That's a mind-boggling number of hands. So, those are some pretty wild numbers, right? But they only tell part of the story. To really get what the Great Wall is all about, we have to look past the stats and figure out what it actually is. Okay, so here's the first big myth we need to bust. Most people picture the Great Wall as one single long wall stretching across China, but that's not it at all. It's actually a massive, sprawling network of walls, fortresses, and towers built by at least 6 different dynasties. It was constantly changing and evolving. All right, so if this was a project that lasted 2 millennia, who were the main players? Let's take a look at the master builders, the ones who really drove this colossal project forward. Well, the story really kicks off way back in 221 BC with Emperor Qin Shi Huang. He's the guy who unified China, and he was the first to start connecting a bunch of existing walls into one defensive line. But, and this is a big but, the parts of the wall you probably have in your head, the beautiful stone ones in all the pictures, those came way later, during the Ming Dynasty. They were the ones who really perfected it. Okay, but think about it. Sticking with a project for 2,000 years? That's insane. Why would you go to all that trouble? What was the threat that was so huge it demanded a 21,000 kilometer solution? It really all boils down to one word: defense. The whole point was to build a massive shield to protect China from constant raids by nomadic groups from the north. The most famous of these, of course, were the Mongols. It was all about controlling who came in and who stayed out. But don't just picture a simple brick wall. Oh no, this was way more clever than that. It was like the world's first high-tech security system. You had these massive walls, some reaching 50 feet high. Then you had about 25,000 watchtowers for spotting trouble. And the coolest part? They had a smoke signal system that could send a message over 600 miles to get troops moving. It was a genius piece of military engineering. But every marvel like this has its price. And the human cost of building the Great Wall, it was brutal. This is where the story takes a really dark turn. Remember Emperor Qin, the guy who started it all? Well, he wasn't exactly a nice boss. He was known for being absolutely ruthless. To get his wall built, he forced hundreds of thousands of his people to work on it. It wasn't just construction, it was a show of absolute power. And the results of that forced labor and the awful conditions? A death toll that's just hard to even imagine. An estimated 400,000 people died. 400,000 just building the first sections of the wall. Because of this, the wall earned a chilling nickname, the longest graveyard of the world. It's a really stark reminder that this incredible wonder was literally built on a foundation of human suffering. With a history that intense, it's only natural that stories and myths would pop up around it. It's how people make sense of such sacrifice. So let's dive into some of the legends and a few of the lies that people still believe today. Okay, let's get the big one out of the way, the one everybody asks. Can you really see it from the moon? Well, the myth is a definite no. NASA astronauts have confirmed you absolutely cannot see it from the moon with your own eyes. But, and this is still pretty cool, you can see it from low Earth orbit, which is about 250 kilometers up. The wall is also surrounded by some amazing folktales. There's the heartbreaking story of Ming Jiangnu, a woman whose sad tears supposedly made a part of the wall collapse where her dead husband was buried. And then there's a clever story about an engineer who calculated exactly how many bricks he'd need. When there was one left over, he claimed a god put it there for stability, and that single brick is still there today. So that's the ancient history, but the wall's story is far from over. In fact, in the last century, its whole purpose has done a complete 180. It's gone from being a barrier designed to keep people out to a bucket list item for people all over the world. It's incredible to think about its modern journey. It wasn't even open to international tourists until 1970. Then, boom, in 1987, it became a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And by 2007, the whole world had voted it one of the new 7 wonders of the world. I mean, just look at this transformation. Its whole reason for being shifted from military defense to being a top tourist hotspot. Its job went from keeping people out to welcoming millions in. It's a total flip from a symbol of division to a celebrated global icon. And how many millions are we talking about? Today, a staggering 10 million tourists visit the Great Wall every single year. That officially makes it one of the most popular historic sites on the entire planet. So that leaves us with this final, really interesting question. What is the true legacy of a structure that was born out of conflict, that cost so many lives, and was designed specifically to keep people apart? But now it does the exact opposite. Now it serves as a bridge, bringing people from all over the world together. It's a powerful transformation to think about.